What's up, guys? Some of y'all need a good stern talking to, maybe an old-fashioned ass whipping. Why this clavicular? Why is this a thing? Um, I know why it's a thing, because young, impressionable, down on their luck, vulnerable men, boys, kids are susceptible to these things for a myriad of reasons. And there are people who have no qualms exploiting them. And this person is one of those. That's what he's doing. He's exploiting these people. I first heard about this because fucking Greg Doucette made a video. Speaking of people who have no qualms exploiting people, the irony is not lost on me of Greg, trying to be the voice of morality on this issue. There's certainly levels to it, but make no mistakes, Greg is also making money off young, impressionable men, boys, with the products that he sells. So it's not to the extreme, this clavicular guy. What he's doing, the demographic he's directly targeting, encouragement of illegal activities, to attain the unattainable goal of perfection. Let's face it, it's unattainable, and that's where I want to swing this to. I don't want to dwell too far or too much on how abhorrent this is, because it is abhorrent. But my message to you is, perfection is not attainable. That's not something you're ever going to get. Even within our, powerlifting, bodybuilding, the day you start, you're forever small, forever weak, right? We all have a certain level of body dysmorphia that drives us into this, and the way we view ourselves, be it, aesthetically, size, for some of us, strength. Don't tie your entire self-worth to any of these things. Take pride in what you do, of course. Okay, got interrupted there at work. But as I was saying, don't tie your self-worth to any of these things completely. It's a recipe for disaster, because you are never going to be that perfection. All right, so, and this is unfortunately, social media amplified, of course, because, now everything on social media is presented as reality. And a lot of you guys, a lot of people in general, are spending more time on our screens than we are in real life, unfortunately. And, reality is perception. And this becomes, your reality, and it's not reality. Social media typically is a highlight reel. Now, obviously, you'll see some people on there whining and crying and, sharing their deepest, darkest moments, of various degrees. But most social media, especially in kind of this sphere, is sort of a highlight reel. And it does come across some of these influencers as they're living perfect lives, and behind closed doors, it's not reality. So don't don't pay this guy. He's 19 years old. He doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. With all due respect to a lot of you guys who are 19 years old, you'll come to find out when you're 30, 35, 40 years old. You didn't know what the fuck you were talking about when you were 19. All right, your worldview is going to change significantly, and that's part of life. That's part of aging. Wisdom is a thing. So I would don't tie all your self-worth into looking perfect, or being the strongest human alive, or being the best bodybuilder you can be, or being the biggest person ever, etc. These are, you can have goals aesthetically, size, strength, whatever, but don't tie 100% of who you are to that. And don't don't give money to a 19-year-old promising you perfection. Don't give money to anybody promising you perfection, to be quite honest. Go out and do things. Go be something, be somebody, do somebody, do somebody, do something. We do go through times where we're down on our luck, but I assure you, like, hard times don't last unless you let them. And if you just sit there and dwell on it and sort of think only about yourself and how miserable shit is, it's easy to get in this cycle of being a fucking Debbie Downer. I'm not a psychologist, I'm not a professional, etc. Go fucking keep yourself busy. I went through a divorce. I have a family. I've got a kid. He's 11 now. I tried to keep our marriage together, even though I probably held on longer than I should have, for his sake. When we split up and the divorce and stuff happened, especially like that first initial month, 2 months or whatever, after you've been with somebody almost 17 years, basically half my life at the time and almost my entire adult life, that's a big shock. My house had never been more clean in my life because I was just keeping myself busy, and that was something I could do to stay busy. And I know that this is kind of a weird offshoot example there, but that staying busy, even if it meant cleaning the same wall like a couple times over, even though it was already clean, kept my mind off of dwelling, off of the woe is me, off of getting into that cycle of daily, telling myself, oh, I'm miserable, I'm sad, blah, 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 blah. And, it kept me busy. It kept me focused on doing things. And, I also, I have a job, I've got my rental properties. I had just gotten back into coaching at the time, so I had other things to keep me busy too. But if I felt there was a lull in the being busy part, or having something to do, and there was an opportunity to dwell on my shortcomings or what was going on at the time, that was my go-to when I was at my house. I would just let's find something to clean. Right, that's something I can do without having to leave, because I have my kid there. I can't just always just get up and go do something actively. If you're a young single man, the world is yours. You can just go out and do something. But that's, and to this day, every now and then I'll complain fuck, I've got so much to do and this and that. But that staying busy and doing things and having tasks and things to do, it's really good to keep those thoughts away that probably most of us all have. And even now, when I do get a time to sit back and reflect, I don't have dark or depressive thoughts. They're very, very few and far between. Typically I'm reflecting on positive things and things that make me happy if I get a moment to sit down and chill. But yeah, man, for the most part, if you are, and I'm not a doctor, if there's chemical imbalances and, seeing a therapist can help. Some people may need medical assistance in the form of medication. That's not for me to talk on. But exercising, of course, going out, being busy, finding something to do, finding a sense of purpose. Even if it's something trivial, like I said, for me, it was just fucking cleaning, just something little to do to keep my mind busy and myself occupied. Can be huge. And then ultimately, you'll find more meaningful things, of course, and things that give you a sort of sense of duty. I have my job here at work, of course, but then my coaching takes up a lot of spare time on the side, and being able to help others is great. Don't get me wrong, I make money doing it, of course. I charge for my time. My time is valuable, and the little side income is awesome too. And then, I have the gym. I do jujitsu 4 nights a week now, or well, 3 nights in one morning, but 4 days a week I'm doing jujitsu. I do cardio almost every day at the gym in the morning before work. So do things, man. Like, go out and do things, and don't get sucked into these influencers who promise you perfection or promise you shortcuts. Are there shortcuts? Yes, but honestly, the shortcuts are not going to give you that same sense of satisfaction. If it is something that's attainable as working for it, you can go buy a shiny new thing and you're going to feel good in the moment. But give it a week and that feeling goes away. And then you got to go buy another shiny new thing to replace it. And then that's just sort of an example versus, I'm going to be cliche here, but it's not the destination, it's the journey. Find some journeys, man. And if you find those journeys and fall in love with those journeys and find yourself enjoying that part of it, you'll be way ahead of the game. Peace!